In this video, I want to give you some quick tips on how to estimate your calorie intake based off your goals. So if you've watched the previous video on calories and energy expenditure and metabolism, you have a better understanding of how this works. So be sure to watch that video first. But essentially, we talked about basal metabolic rate. So you want to establish what your basal metabolic rate is and never eat below that amount. Then there is a little bit of physical activity that you're going to do on top of that. So you may want to account for a little bit more calories just in case that basal metabolic rate estimation is off. And I've seen it to be off as much as 300 or 400 calories on some individuals because some of those equations do not take into account lean muscle mass, which burns more calories. So establish your BMR. I provided you a tool to be able to do that as well. Establish that. Then you want to establish what your total daily energy expenditure is from BMR, from the digestion of food, from your non-exercise activity burning, and from your exercise activity burning. That's the total amount of calories you burn every day. If your goal is fat loss, we do want you to be in a 500 calorie deficit, maybe up towards a 1,000 calorie deficit, but that is very excessive and aggressive. And if that deficit puts you below BMR, I don't recommend that you do that. I only recommend that you eat in a deficit if it keeps you above your basal metabolic rate. So if it does put you in a deficit with your current physical activity below BMR, then I need you to do more physical activity. You need your total daily energy expenditure to be high enough that that 500 to 1,000 calorie deficit can be above BMR. That's what I want. So establish BMR, establish TDEE or your total daily energy expenditure, then eat in a deficit below that or between those two if your goal is fat loss. Start with something like 500 calorie deficit because that'll be a lot more conservative and more easily maintainable, and then go at it from there. If you go in a deficit below 1,000 calories and with how much activity you're doing, you will be putting your body under too much stress, and you may cause changes in your physiology and your hormones that will actually potentially cause fat storage or at least limiting of your fat loss goal. So do not exceed a deficit of 1,000 calories, okay? More is not always better in this case. Your body will respond in a way that is not desired. If your goal is muscle development, establish the BMR, make sure you definitely eat over that. Establish your total daily energy expenditure, and then you want to eat at minimum that, if not, about 500 calories per day more than you're burning in terms of your total daily energy expenditure, because that's what's going to help you overall with muscle development. Now, I said in a past video, you can burn fat in a surplus and you can gain muscle in a deficit, but typically those are going to be a little bit short-lived. So we do want to estimate your calories at those approximate measures I just told you for longer-term continuous results.